Well, good evening, all, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, this is a great day because in the middle of all that we may be going through, Mount Pleasant Baptist Church is celebrating and launching its 10th annual Health Explosion. But of course, as opposed to being in person, we're bringing this live and in living color into your homes, into your coffee shops, into your watch parties, and wherever you may be. And so we're so thankful that you would join us today. Welcome, Mount Pleasant Baptist Church family, friends, visitors, and all of those around the world that may be enjoying us today. I'd like to take a moment, if you wouldn't mind, and let us just pray this great event open, and then we will begin to launch into some of the details of what you can expect. Father, we thank you on this day. Lord, we bless this time that we're going to be together experiencing information that will talk about improving our mind, body, and soul. Father, we bless each person that is listening to us wherever they may be, those that are watching us, and anybody that has an infirmity, may they find some good and useful information to help encourage them, to help lift them up and allow them to strengthen their person, their mind, and their body. Father, we just bless you on this day. Well, thank you yet once again. In the name of Jesus, we've prayed, and we just want to be able to tell you we are so thankful and so glad that you've joined us this evening. Let me just give you a brief preview of what to expect. Today is Friday, and we're going to be on with live sessions and recorded sessions all the way up until 8 o'clock this evening. We're going to pause, and we'll be coming back to you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll be going from 10 till noon, give you an opportunity to take a break, get a good meal. We'll be picking back up at 2 p.m. with some fantastic information about your health. And then we will pause somewhere around 4:30 or so, let you grab dinner, but then don't eat too much because we're going to open up back around 6 o'clock with a healthy cooking scenario. And then we're going to do some more information, and we're going to end up on Saturday evening with a family movie that we're going to recommend to be running across our channels. And then finally, Sunday afternoon, right after you've had an opportunity, if you worship wherever you may be, online, whoever you may be with, starting about 1:30 or 2 o'clock, we're going to be coming back to you with a whole panel and host of information regarding health and taking care of your health. And we're going to be wrapping up somewhere around 4:30 tomorrow, on Sunday afternoon. So we hope that you'll reserve your time, mark it out on your calendars. Each day we'll be giving you a kind of a highlight of what to expect. Tonight we're going to be really delving into some personal care, talking about personal hair care. We're going to be talking about giving some women's hair care. We're going to have an opportunity to get some healthy cooking tips from a holistic health individual. And we're going to have a brief pause with a comedian just to provide some levity. But most importantly, let me help you share the genesis behind what we're doing here. Here at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, we believe in ministering to the whole person, the whole body, mind, body, and soul. And so therefore, part of our ministry, the socio-economic empowerment ministry, is focused on bringing on a regular basis information that would help us have a better body, have a better healthy tempo. Also information that would help us deal with the emotional and mental aspects today. And quite frankly, would you not agree that we are facing some challenging times? And if there was ever a time that you've been tested emotionally during this global pandemic, during these global activities, whether it's elections or all these things, we're being challenged emotionally. And so we want to help equip you, help strengthen you in that area to help get you through these times so that when you come out on the other side, you come out stronger and healthier. And yes, particularly in addition to the body and the mind, we also are going to be talking about things that would relate to the soul. So we're going to be having worship, we're going to be having praise, we're going to be having speakers, panelists. You know, have you ever wondered what people are dealing with right now, especially our children and youth, trying to adapt to this online learning environment? We're bringing in some experts to help talk to you about that. Have you ever considered what it would be like if you didn't really feel like you had a high physical capacity, but you really really wanted to get an opportunity to just do some kind of exercise, we're going to talk about that. And oh, by the way, simultaneously, while we're out here, tomorrow morning we're going to have people doing walks in our local community. So some of you at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church have registered to go on the walks both here and in some places in Loudoun County. We're going to have bike rides going on. So we have a whole host of activities. And here's what we're looking for. If you find yourself in a position where you'd like to get more information, feel free to go out to the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church website. And on there, if you hit the contact us and just fill out the little form, we will get back with you. Now, let me just provide you some of the parameters that we have to operate under nowadays in our society, and that is you are going to see some information provided by vendors with different products and services. We just want to let you know that Mount Pleasant Baptist Church doesn't endorse any one of these products or services, but we are happy to bring them to you to get you exposed to people that we believe can help you in your life. And so therefore, we would ask that you'd be attentive, listen out for the lineup. We're going to be a little bit flexible because we may decide to add some things, but at the end of the day, we are ready to roll. So hopefully you've had a chance to get in front of your TV, get in front of your video camera or your laptop or your iPad or your phone, and get ready to enjoy our first session this evening talking about personal hair care. Okay, so
at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, you will find this and this. You can be a part of this, make your mark like that, and praise like this. At Mount Pleasant, our vision is to impact the lives of people throughout the world with the transforming power of the good news of Jesus Christ by equipping, encouraging, and enabling the people of God to do His good works. That's a Pleasant Hope. So why don't you join us in person or on the Pleasant Hope broadcast? Pleasant Hope.
Hello, I'm the Reverend Dr. Kevin E. Donaldson, pastor of the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church located at 2516 Squirrel Hill Road in Herndon, Virginia. I want to welcome you to the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church 360-degree Health Explosion 2020. We are so excited that you have come to join us for a jam-packed weekend focused on you, on your well-being, the well-being of your family. This is the 10th year that we have been doing our Health Explosion, and we know that because of COVID-19, there are concerns, and so this year we decided to go virtual. During this virtual event this weekend, we want you to take the time to focus on your mind, your body, and your soul. This is a time of refreshing, education, and renewal. Our motto at Mount Pleasant is #WeBuildHere. We want you to build yourself up spiritually, physically, and mentally. It's our prayer that something will be said or done on this weekend that will bless you in a mighty way. God bless you and welcome.
Hi everyone, Toby here with Sheldy's Beauty Salon. We are truly excited to be a part of this health explosion. The mysticism surrounding Black hair care is finally at a point where it has almost disappeared. There's so many different techniques to caring for Black hair. There's so many different types of Black hair. So we are really, truly excited to just share with you some of the tips that we've acquired over the past 26 years of being in business. One of the things to understand is that hair can change over time. Hair can evolve. Your texture can change. Your hair can thicken. It can thin. So progressing with your hair is really important. If you're somebody who goes to a salon, you definitely want to make sure you are building a relationship with a particular stylist or with stylists in that salon, so that as your hair, also evolves, they can evolve with it. If you are somebody who takes care of your hair at home, you have to also be open-minded to say, this might not always be the way I'm going to take care of it. Different people will have different tips for you based on their experience. So also understanding that nothing is the same across the board. Everyone's information is based on the experiences they've had with particular stylists and different types of hair. So you have to be prepared for that as well. as we go into this winter season, and then now having to sustain ourselves during this pandemic, it's become very important and critical that we have information that is going to help us for those who are staying at home, those who are going into protective styles, those who are going to be going back to work, those who are going to school. So it's very important. The weather's changing too. And as you know, with the season, the hair can also change. The care has to change because black hair is just so sensitive. It's so sensitive. For a long time, everyone's kind of just thrown it, either underneath the wig or put it in braids or just relaxed it and didn't quite know what to do. But now there's just so much that we can do. So it's really exciting. It's a really, really exciting time. One thing I do want to, talk about is the not exactly the stereotypes, but one of the great things that has happened is that people now realize that there is no one correct way to take care of black hair. You can have natural hair and it's okay. You can relax your hair and it's okay. You can do a weave or a wig and it's okay. You can do braids or cornrows and it's okay. The key thing is no matter how you're doing your hair, you have to make sure that you are taking care of it. If you're going to keep natural hair, you need to make sure you're moisturizing it, you're trimming it, you're looking after it, you're using the right products for your texture, for your curl pattern. You're not just putting it into a ponytail. You're not just leaving it because, it's natural and I don't have to do anything to it. No, your hair is very, very sensitive. People who have natural hair will tell you their hair is constantly shedding and, all types of things are happening. It's drying out. They don't have much to do with it, because they haven't found the right products to use with it. They haven't learned the different methods of taking care of it, how to keep it in a satin bonnet or use a satin pillowcase. Things that are so important to look after when you have natural hair. Then when you get a relaxer, you have to follow the relaxer system. You have to also use the right products. You have to make sure you are touching up your hair on time and not waiting 5 months before you get a touch-up, because that's going to cause severe breakage for you. So making sure you're following through. If you are going to be doing relaxers, you have to follow through. If you're going to do weaves and wigs, you can't just always keep your hair underneath. When you take your hair out, you have to make sure you give it some time to breathe. You have to make sure you're also taking care of it. You're still trimming it. You're still conditioning it. You're still taking care of it, even though you have a weave. And some people will put a weave or a wig on and then just keep it in for 3 months and never wash it, never come to the salon. And you have all of that stuff that's building up underneath it. And this is damaging your hair. It's damaging your hair, your scalp, everything. So even if you have a weave or a wig, it's so important. You have to make sure you're still washing it consistently. Every 2 weeks, you're getting it washed. It's drying properly. You're taking care of it. Because, now we use the edge control. We use all kinds of things, the glues and all kinds of things that can cause buildup. So we have to make sure we're taking care of it even when we're in that style. And with the braids as well, whatever you put on your scalp, whatever you're using, if your hair is itching, when you have the braids in, you have to make sure it's a product that will be good for your hair as well. Not just because you're in braids, because your hair will be affected by those products as well. So you can do anything that you want. You just have to make sure that you are taking care of your hair, and if you see that you are having a reaction to certain things, if you see your hair is starting to thin, if you see, and there's no cause for that, because sometimes there are reasons people can't do certain things because medications you're taking, the diet that you're on, these things can all affect your hair. It can cause it to shed, it can cause all kinds of things. So if you don't have any underlying issues that are causing this, do not just ignore it. Go see a professional. If you don't regularly go to a salon, go see a professional and let let them guide you. Sometimes you have to go to a dermatologist because it's a scalp problem. So not sweeping it under the rug and taking care of the problem before it becomes worse is just so important. We've had so many clients who now just constantly wear wigs because they let their hair get to a point where it's going to be a process to get it back to where it needs to be, and they just either are not emotionally ready for it, or they don't, have the time for it. So it's so important. It's so important when you see those beginning problematic areas that you really make sure you pay attention to them. So we put together some clips that we use even on our, on social media. Some of the stylists here at Sheldy's, and these are women who have been doing hair for years, and it's across the board. So just, enjoy, listen to them. If you have any questions, obviously we're right here in Sterling, Virginia. We're more than happy to assist with consultations or anything of that nature. So enjoy.
The weather makes your hair really dry in the wintertime. Just like your skin is dry, your hair also gets dry. So we have to make sure we moisturize our hair, whether it's with argan oil or whether it's with coconut oil or a moisturizing cream. We have to moisturize our hair. A lot of times in the wintertime, people are wearing wool coats, they're wearing wool sweaters, and what happens is their hair is breaking off, and it's breaking off at the nape area because they're always constantly turning their heads, and they're talking and just walking. And if you look at the back of your wool sweater or your coat, you will see pieces of hair that has popped off your head. And I know the winter coats, the wool is nice and warm, but it breaks your hair off. So what I like to tell my clients is put a scarf right on the back of the sweater or back of the coat so your hair won't break off.
You always want to section your hair out before you comb it out. So if you have a lot of hair, always section it out. When you're trying to make a decision between should you wear a weave or a wig, a lot of the times if you want to wear your hair up and like you want to be able to wear a ponytail, it's probably best if you get a weave because you probably want to leave some hair out enough to cover where it looks very natural and it's more versatile. With the wigs, it's a little bit more convenient. Like I have on a wig, and I just think it's convenient. I don't really like to have the same style every day or look the same way every day. So, this is my choice today. Tomorrow it'll be something else. It just depends on what kind of look you're going for and, how you want that to work for you. How often, a lot of people are asking how often should they comb and moisturize their hair after leaving the salon. It depends on your hair. If your natural hair is very drying. And if it's dry, you have to moisturize, because the cuticle of the hair is closed when it's natural. So I always say, every day for some people, every 2 days for some people. Some people can go every 3 days. But moisturize. Relaxed hair, you can probably go a little longer, like 3 days in between, but you have to moisturize your hair.
Only when you wear braids too long, or weave too long, or even a wig installed too long, what happens, the hair that's growing underneath, when you go to take it out, if you don't properly comb the hair out before you shampoo it, it's going to mat as soon as you get to the bowl. Take your braids out, comb your hair thoroughly. Also, use a moisturizing shampoo, because if you go in with a shampoo that's not moisturizing and you just came out of braids or weave, it's going to mat.
I'm going to talk to you how you can detangle your kids' hair. Tip number 1, a Watu comb, okay? Second, you're going to need a rat tail comb. Third, you're going to need a spray bottle with some water in it. And you're going to put some conditioner on it, and you're going to spray the water on the hair, and you're going to use the rat tail comb and start from the ends and work your way up to the roots. And then you're going to also use the big comb as well to just go over it again to make sure everything is clear.
Tips that you can use after you leave the salon to keep your hair looking great. One tip, my favorite tip, is using a satin bonnet at night. The satin bonnet at night is great. It keeps your hair nice and moist. It keeps your hair in place. You can also take and put your hair up in what we call a pineapple, and it keeps your style.
You need to trim your hair every 6 to 8 weeks, because when you do not and you go in for that trim, you're going to take off so much more. It's better to have a healthy head of hair than one that is damaged all the way up to the root.
I'm talking to you today about going from dark hair to blonde hair, whether it's blonde or pale blonde. It cannot be done in one day. A lot of clients think when they come to a salon, oh, I want my hair blonde and their hair is dark brown. It's hard to get them in one day because you're only supposed to lift the hair for a certain amount of levels, which is like 4 or 5 levels, and that's it. So a lot of times we tell them it's a process. You have to come back so you can get that hair to where you want it, whether it's a blonde or pale blonde, because it's not safe to take and do it in one setting.
You cannot purchase a product that is going to grow your hair. You're only going to get 1.5 inches possibly per month anyway, no matter what you do. So it all is a part of becoming partners with your stylist, coming up with a plan, and sticking to that plan.
One product that is good for natural hair is Design Essentials Leave-In Conditioner. Very good for natural hair. After you wash your hair, I suggest that you put that in your hair first. And you can blow dry with it. It makes your hair nice and soft. It also detangles. Rose H2O from Mizani is another good product that you can use on natural hair. Natural hair oils like organic coconut oil is good, and also Oregon oil is really good for natural hair. Hi guys, this is Sheldana, coming to you again to talk to you about some tips that you can use after you leave the salon to keep your hair looking great. One tip, my favorite tip, is using a satin bonnet at night. The satin bonnet at night is great. It keeps your hair nice and moist. It keeps your hair in place. You can also take and put your hair up in what we call a pineapple, and it keeps your style.
Stop trimming your hair yourself. The reason why is because you go into your stylist, they can tell you where your dead ends is, and if they trim it, it'll be accurate than you doing it yourself at home, because you're not gonna know where your dead end is, and you might end up taking more out than you're supposed to.
A lot of my clients come to me and ask me about protein treatment, so I'm just gonna talk to you a little about it. If you wanna come in and get a protein treatment, well, first of all, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Have your hair been shedding? Have you noticed a lot of breakage on your hair? If that's the case, I'm gonna shampoo your hair, and then from there, I'm gonna put you on the dryer for 45 minutes, and it hardens the hair. That way, it stops the breakage. And afterwards, we're gonna wash your hair out, put you back on the dryer for 20 minutes for the conditioner.
About some risks that you're taking when you're using a relaxer, a box relaxer, or a box color. The risk is that you're either under-processing or over-processing your hair. You're damaging it. And when they come in the salon, we don't know until we put the relaxer on and we got the new growth straight, and then we look and the rest of the hair is puffy. And that's because they didn't get their hair straight all the way. They didn't process it the correct way. And when coloring their hair, they're using a lot of box colors. And what happens is they expect for the color to come out the same as it looks on the box, and it's not going to happen. So it's best to go to a salon and let them do your hair.
Your kid's hair, especially when they have braids, you always want to grease your kid's scalp. It's really, really important just to keep it nice and moisturized, because you don't want them walking around with that scalp being dry. So you always want to get like a light grease and put it on that scalp.
A lot of times the people are getting a lot of braids and they're getting weaves, and they're not giving their hair a break in between. And what happens is their edges start to go. They get thin, they start to break off, and they ask, what can I do to my edges to help them grow? Now, Organic Root Stimulator has something called Edge Bond. What is it called? Temple Bond is what it's called, and that's good for the edges, to help the edges come back and keep them moisturized. But I also suggest that they give time. Give it a week or so, or give time in between before you get them braids put back in your hair. Because over time, what happens is you could develop alopecia, and once that happens, I send my clients to the dermatologist, and they tell them that, there's nothing that can be done. And if it's something that can be done prior to, as far as giving their hair a break, I suggest that you do it.
A lot of times you come in salon and you have your hair relaxed. However, you leave and you're using shampoo from various stores, I'll say, and it's not part of the system. So my advice to you would be, if you're using this relaxer. Make sure you go home with the exact shampoo, conditioner, styling products from that exact system so you can receive the full benefits of what is considered a relaxer system.
People are always asking me, how often should I trim my hair? I always tell them, trim your hair between 5 and 8 weeks, depending on your hair and what you're doing to it, to keep the ends nice and healthy, because the ends are not nice and healthy. Your ends will split, and once they split, it'll split all the way up the strand, and a lot of times you'll have to get a haircut.
That is it from us. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of this experience. I hope you were able to learn 1 or 2 things. If it's things that you already knew, then I hope it helped, with some clarification. Enjoy your hair. I think that is the biggest thing. Enjoy your hair, and don't shy away from being versatile if you want to be, and just always remember to look after it. It's your crown. Your hair is your crown, so however you wear it, remember to look after it, and just be kind to one another. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, bye.
Well, everybody needs to have personal hair care for their personal hygiene and self-esteem. And when you do that, you'd like to go to a facility that has the ability to provide you customer service, protection, as well as safety. And so at Mr. O's, this is what we have. So let's take a peek inside in this opportunity to see a well-organized organization that is following the laws, by appointment only, social distancing applied. Here you can see the hours of operation. So I'd like to take you now inside to this particular organization and just see what Mr. O's has to offer you.
Silent.
Good morning, young man.
Yes?
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Absolutely wonderful.
Good. So what should I do when I come in here to your shop?
When you first come into the shop, I ask you to sanitize your hands.
Already?
Get Glover down.
Right over here like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, Dad did not do that. And then we're going to be able to, just talk to Lenny.
Clean my chair for you.
And have that conversation with Willie Spoon. And so we get Clover. Clover, get down here. And she's like, I'm in trouble. No, you're not in trouble. Did you break that plant? And I just assumed she'd immediately go, no, I didn't do that. And she goes, I don't remember. I'm like, I don't remember. You would remember if you were there or not there, and then now I'm just like, I don't know which reaction I think is more amusing.
And I welcome you to my chair.
I am ready to have a cut. Thank you so much.
Spray down these chairs.
He lost a lot of his money and resource in the fire.
With this product here called Macaband. This Macaband is supposed to last 24 hours, but we try to spray it down twice a day. So to keep these chairs protected for the whole time that we're here.
All 4 of his daughters died perished in the ocean. His wife telegrammed him, letting him know that their daughters had died, asking him what he should do, what she should do. He immediately boarded the next ship he could, and as he made his way to reconnect with his grieving wife in England, the captain of the ship notified him.
This is the way I normally do it, and I do both sides the same way.
Yeah. Where his daughters had perished.
So tell me, why did you open this store?
Why did I open the store?
Yeah, why do you do this?
I need to eat.
Okay. And what motivates you to take care of her personal hair care
like a river,
and helping people in terms of cutting their hair and grooming them? What motivates you to do that?
First of all, I love cutting hair, and secondly, I love interacting with people on an individual level.
Okay.
I mean, I think that God has given me the gift to really respond to people on a personal level, and that I really enjoyed it. I think that it is the ministry that He has given unto me.
Awesome. And when somebody comes here, they make their appointment, and they get a haircut, you do something for every person that sits in that chair.
But several years ago, God told me to start praying for my clients. I prayed for them that year, and when I had prayed for all of them, I thought I stopped praying. The following year, He told me, I want you to pray, and I want you to continue to pray. So since that time, which is about 10 years ago now, I've been constantly praying for every one of my clients.
when you prayed.
Fantastic, fantastic.
That allowed me to do something.
Excellent, excellent. And lastly, when somebody comes here, they feel safe because you've cleaned them, they've prayed for them, but can they get a good cut?
Verse 43 of 1 Kings
I think I'm the best in the field.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think I do okay.
And so you are, who are you?
My name is Otis Bailey. I'm better known as Mr. O at Mr. O's Barbershop at 7549 Centerville Road in Manassas, Virginia.
Fantastic. Well, we are so happy and thankful that you're in business and that you're taking care of people. And God bless you. And we keep on cutting.
God bless you as well. Y'all have a blessed day.
Amen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Connie McKnight. I used to be a former resident of Leesburg, but now I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is my 19th year teaching. I teach English. I love working with children. I feel that I probably learn more from the kids than they learn from me, but this is definitely a lifelong, passion of mine to work with kids. So I just want to remind you guys of a couple things as we are currently dealing with this pandemic. First off, I am so proud of the young people. I am very proud of how flexible you've been, how you've been able to overcome certain obstacles and still focus on your academics. When I log in the morning on the computer, because we're still virtual also, I have to go into work, so I'm doing kind of like a hybrid model. So I'm teaching the kids virtually, and I have a couple in person. But I'm just very proud of how, even in this time of uncertainty, you guys are still encouraging. So just to see all the smiles on the computer and, have my students checking on me is just awesome. You guys are a very resilient group. So let's see, I just kind of jotted some things down because I don't want to forget anything. The first thing, please be patient with yourself. This is a crazy time for everybody, and a lot of times, especially, my super high achievers who have set all these goals, especially my seniors out there, you guys are getting ready to go off to college and you are making your plans. And yes, it's very stressful, and yes, it's an awesome, idea to set goals and to have a plan of what you want to do. But also be patient with yourself. There's going to be things that happen, in these coming months, maybe year, that are not going to be the norm. So sometimes when we set these big goals, me included, sometimes you have to reassess. So don't be too hard on yourself, and just make sure that you've surrounded yourself with a group of people that is definitely understanding and that can support you as you're working toward your goals. Another thing that's very important, be transparent with your friends and family. Don't try to take on too much and just hold it all in. Like, we all have those days where you might need to just call somebody and maybe you just sit and, talk, or you sit and cry. We all need those outlets. Don't try to be too strong, because in the long run, that definitely does not work out. And sometimes, we need people. Like, we all need people at sometimes. So don't try to be too strong. Let people know that it's not a good day for you. Let people know that you could use a little bit more encouragement or help. Definitely reach out and use your support system. Trust me. It took me a while to figure that out. I tried to always keep a smile and make it seem like it was all good, but sometimes it's not all good. So it's okay to let people know that you need a little bit extra. Let's see. Okay, and this is very important. Organize yourself. When it comes to school, you definitely need to be organized to be successful. But in these times, you need to look ahead, and if you can work a little bit ahead, that's an awesome idea, because you never know what the next day is going to hold. You might not feel well, something might happen that kind of is a setback and kind of takes your attention away from your studies. So if you organize and you have a big picture of everything that you need to accomplish, it makes it a lot easier. It's just very hard to procrastinate in these times, because something might pop up and then you're like, oh man, you don't want to miss deadlines. So definitely organize yourself. I write things down. So I have things hanging all over my wall in my bedroom, so that when I'm walking past, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I have that to do. So organize yourself in whatever way works for you. Positive words of affirmation. It's always a good idea to write things down, little notes to yourself, or just, pictures, paintings, anything that's going to be, a little bit of encouragement for you at an unexpected moment. If you surround yourself with these things and you're constantly looking at them, you don't have to worry about, when you're feeling sad or frustrated or angry, you don't have to worry about creating those things that kind of build you back up in that moment. If they're already around, you might just be kind of like looking off into space and you look up and you see something. I have lots of pictures in my house. They're just a constant reminder, a reset for me. So they're bright, vibrant colors, with things that say hope, dream, love, be bold. Just a lot of different things that kind of are a reminder and a reset. Okay, another thing. And I'm guilty of this also. A lot of the things that I'm sharing with you guys, I'm saying these things because they're things that I've noticed that I'm doing. And they're things that, my current students are talking about. But be careful what you are, watching and listening to on social media, on TV, just in conversations. You want to avoid watching too much, traumatic media or negative media. It definitely gets inside your head and it causes you to process these things and kind of lose track on some of your goals. I'm not saying don't be aware. Trust me. I'm keeping up with everything that's going on. And yes, I have some very strong opinions, but I try to limit my social media intake when it comes to certain topics because, you watch the video, you read the story, you start looking at all the comments, you react to it, and then you go on to the next one. And then you find yourself, after about 30 minutes of this, you find yourself in a completely different space when it comes to just your thought process and what you already had going on for the day. So I definitely don't suggest waking up in the morning, first thing, and getting on social media and looking at any type of content that's going to cause you to get upset or to feel sad. That's just definitely not the way to start your day. So just be careful with that. And also just now you definitely need to protect your peace. So negative people that always have negative energy or negative comments, that's definitely not the space that you want to be in. And what I've been saying to the people who like to complain a lot with no solutions, or the people who are just, there's just always something that's, negative. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to separate myself from that. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm busy, so I'm going to catch up with you a little bit later. So definitely protect your peace. That's very important. Now, another thing, get out, walk, get some sunlight. If you were not someone who exercised on a regular basis before the pandemic, now is definitely a time where you need to get out and you need to be moving and getting sunlight. There's so many people who are vitamin D deficient now who were not in the past because I'm speaking for my own children. I know sometimes, a day or two will go by before they even leave the house. So the sunlight is very, very necessary. You'll see a boost in your energy when you make sure that you get your sunlight, and just your mood. The sun is definitely necessary, so make sure that you are getting out and you are, even if it's just walking, you know, just go outside and sit on the porch in the sunlight for a little bit. But get your sunlight and get up and moving. Don't sit in one spot for too long. I know that a lot of us are doing things on the computer now. Don't sit at the computer for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Make sure that you're getting up, and whatever work you're doing, it'll definitely be there when you get back. So get up and get moving. And lastly, create an outlet for yourself. As you can see by my background, art is my outlet. It brings me peace of mind. It takes my mind off of things that are going on that I am dealing with. And it's also my way of connecting with people. So there's lots of different avenues that I take to create my art, but definitely find something that you enjoy doing that's going to be a reset for you. Maybe something that you can do with other people, whether it's in person or virtually, you know, based on, you know, whatever's going on. I know that, you know, across the country, you know, things are just different in every area, and everyone's setup is different. So if you're able to connect with people, definitely do that. Now is not the time to be alone. We all need to support one another. And just to reiterate, once again, I'm so proud of all the young people. If I was your teacher in the past, I'm just saying hi. I keep up with a lot of you on social media, and I look at all of the great things that you're doing, and I'm excited that, you know, I got to teach you, that I was a part of that. So I hope that everyone has an awesome weekend. I hope that you really gain a lot from the different speakers that you listen to this weekend. And hopefully next time that I'm visiting Virginia, I will see some of you. Thank you.
Well, we want to thank you for continuing to be involved. That was just an appetizer. Connie was really talking to all the people that are just trying to deal with this environment. We're getting ready to continue with some personal care items, and here's what our focus is. 360-degree health means we were looking at all aspects. And so we realize that your confidence, your emotional well-being, and sometimes just how you look makes a difference on how you feel, and how you feel can encourage you. And so what you're about ready to see is a couple of very creative vendors that are bringing some ideas on how to feel better in a very economical times, in an economical manner. So we're just looking forward to continuing to go on. We'll be going forward after that with some tips from a natural, holistic young lady who's going to come to us and talk to you about healthy cooking. And she's actually going to be doing a cooking session for you that would look like what it would be to prepare a healthy dinner. You see, here's what I know. We all eat. We all enjoy eating. But guess what? In the times that you find yourself needing to have a good meal, oftentimes we struggle with just going to the store and finding out, so what is there for me? And so what we're going to do is we've invited this young lady in who has a practice of focusing on both the physical health and nutritional health. She calls herself a holistic naturalist. In other words, she's looking at all aspects of the being. It ties right in and perfectly with what our 360-degree health focus is, because you're going to find that throughout this weekend, we'll be talking some things about your financial health, you know, things like a long-term disability. Are you prepared for those types of situations? We're going to be talking to you. We're going to have some school teachers and school officials here talking to you about what it's like to be parenting for children that are in this online environment with these challenges between work and having them at home and all these kinds of things. So there's so much in store for you. And then, yes, we do have a comedian because we do think it's important to laugh. You know, what did God say? Laughter is good for the soul, and I'm always one to believe there's laughter. Now, again, the whole idea is that for you to feel confident that in spite of what may be going on in the news, in spite of what you may have read, in spite of what you may have heard about some of the negative challenges that we may be facing, we believe, and God is my witness, that if you would just embrace some of the positive ideas, embrace some of the new things, be willing to step out of your comfort zone, there's a great opportunity for you to exceed during these times. Now, as we mentioned this evening, we're going to be wrapping up around 8